Sir Lane Saxby.
4, please, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Speaker. With your permission, I would like to answer this question along with question 22. As the House will know, active travel is at the heart of the government's agenda, and the government is investing around £3 billion to support it, more than any previous government. The government reports regularly to Parliament on progress towards meeting its active travel goals, and the next report will be published alongside the third statutory cycling and walking investment strategy in due course.
Sir Lane Saxby.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm delighted that active travel funding has reached North Devon and part of the missing link of the Tarka Trail will be completed. However, due to the time constraints of when the funding needs to be spent, Devon County Council are not yet able to complete the whole stretch. Can my honourable friend confirm when further funding rounds will be available to enable this much-needed and long overdue missing link to be completed?
Well, I congratulate the Honourable Lady, who is a fantastic campaigner for active travel. And yes, she's absolutely right. It's great that North Devon has been able to benefit, as Devon has, from £1.8 million through Active Travel Fund 4. ATE plan to run a further capital funding round later this year and will work with local authorities, including those in rural areas, to encourage bids for schemes that have high potential to increase walking, wheeling and cycling trips.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. People walking, wheeling and cycling saved 2.5 million tonnes of greenhouse gas emissions and avoided more than 29,000 early deaths in 2021. However, only a fifth of total active spending comes from dedicated active travel funding. The rest comes from various funding pots, which are not guaranteed. With such low proportion of ring-fenced funding, how can the government guarantee that it's really spent on active travel, which is good for our health, good for our economy, and good for our environment?
Well, the Honourable Lady is absolutely right. I myself think that active travel, cycling, walking and wheeling is probably the single biggest health intervention a human being can make in their lives as a choice of habit. And so she's right to highlight the importance of supporting it, as the government has done more than any other previous government. There are a range of pots, including CRIS and RIS2 and Levelling Up Fund monies, into which authorities can bid, and many have done so and will continue to do so highly successfully, and that provides a continuing opportunity for them to benefit from these levels of increased funding.
Shadow Minister Jill Furness.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. May I also associate myself with the condolences that we send to India. In 2021, ministers set themselves 4 targets to measure progress in the active travel uptake. 3 years on, how many of these targets are they confident of meeting? Well, I can tell you today, not a single one, according to the government's own assessment as revealed by the National Audit Office yesterday. The National Audit Office report also uncovered a staggering cut to active travel funding of £166 million, which, by the government's own workings, would cost the taxpayer over £700 million in the long run. So will the Minister finally come clean and confirm whether he will be slashing this vital funding by 60% next year too? Yes or no?
Well, the Honourable Lady will be aware that the government has had to make efficiency savings across the board as a result of the illegal war being waged by Putin in Ukraine. And the report she mentions, of course, reflects the fact that the government set highly ambitious targets, which have always been known and understood to be testing. One of the great advantages of the installation of Active Travel England, a sensational organisation, is precisely that we can drive better value for money as well as better quality of schemes across the whole of our infrastructure.